You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. An Indian businessman, Ashok Kumar, who has been battling the Interior Ministry over his residence and work permit, has been deported to his home country. But wife of Mr. Kumar says she has been left traumatized after some officers of the Ghana Immigration Service stormed their home on Sunday morning to forcefully start the deportation processes. The immigration officers, numbering 6, allegedly destroyed one of the doors in the house with concrete blocks before getting access to the rooms. His wife, Gifty Adanka, says the officers physically assaulted her before they took her husband away to the Kotoka International Airport to board a flight to India. The Supreme Court sometime this month quashed a decision by an Accra High Court ordering the restoration of the residence and work permit of the Indian businessman.
Well, actually yesterday I got back from church around 9:30. So I was inside my bedroom trying to change. Then Ashok Kumar came in and was like, "Did you hear a noise outside?" And I said, "No, I didn't hear anything. So let me quickly change and then go out and see what is going on." Suddenly I saw a guy peek through our bedroom window. He climbed a ladder and peeked through the window and said to me that, he didn't directly say to me, he just said, "Open the door." So I said, I was kind of shocked though, so I was like, "Open the door." He says, "Yes, open the door." And I said, "I'm not going to open the door till I speak to my lawyer." He says, "I don't take orders from you."
Okay. At that point, why did you mention your lawyer? Who was this person who was, peeping through your bed?
Because he was in a uniform, so I assume he's an immigration officer.
Okay. What kind of uniform was he in?
In a green, I could only see the top. Okay. It was a green color. Okay. I didn't notice the down. So when I said that, when I said I want to speak to my lawyer, then he says, "I will not take orders from you." Then he quickly ran down. So he says, "I will not take directions from you. I will not take orders from you." Then he picked a block and he started smashing the door, hitting the door until the door broke. And he came in. And so while he was hitting the door, I tried to take a photo because I was shocked that a thing of that sort could happen. And moreover, he didn't even show us anything that some kind of warrant or something. He came in and he says I should give my phone to him. I said I will not. He didn't even ask, "Give me your phone." He just attacked me, forcefully trying to take the phone from me. So I said, "I'm not going to give you my phone." And he twisted my arm, pushed me down the couch, and I was also trying to hold my phone from him, and he started smacking me, and eventually they collect my phone, and they went through the bedroom also and took and dragged Ashok out.
Wow. So this was around what time? You said 10 in the morning?
I had gotten back from church around 9:30.
Wow.
Yeah, so it should be around 9:30, close to 10 o'clock, because I didn't really notice. I remember I got back from church around 9:30 and 9:30 about. See my cheek here, it was swelling yesterday, so I had to go to the hospital.
How many were they?
There were about 6 guys.
6 of them?
Yeah.
All of them in immigration uniform, or some of them were in plain clothes?
Some of them were in, I think some of them, I've seen one that was not in the uniform. Yeah.
Okay. But have you spoken to Ashok?
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning.
Okay. Did he tell you where they took him and what next they did to him?
Well, he said they took him straight to the headquarters, and then within a short while they took him out from the headquarters straight to the airport, and then they put him in the plane.
Wow. And he's deported him.
Yeah, yeah. Very traumatized. I feel mistreated. I feel like I'm a Ghanaian being mistreated in my home, in my own land. I feel like they don't even take me into consideration. I'm a Ghanaian, so I don't even know whether the law doesn't even protect Ghanaians or what. The law, I don't know whom the law is supposed to be protecting. I don't know. I really don't know. It's so crazy. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that I'll be treated like this. And moreover, Ashok is such, I wish you had the opportunity to meet him. He's such a nice person. This guy is such a lovely guy. He can't even hurt a fly. It's really painful. It's really painful.
Sorry. But have you reported this incident to the police? Sorry.
Yes, yesterday I did.
What did the police say?
They told me they'll take it on. Yesterday they went, they had asked me to go for the medical. They've given me a medical form, so I went to the hospital.
Okay. These are some of the workers from the company owned by the Indian businessman. They are not happy about what happened on Sunday morning. A lot of them say when the Indian businessman is forced to leave this country, they would also lose their source of livelihoods. And that is what is triggering this demonstration here at his workplace this morning.
I have 2 kids and a wife to take care of. Without this, our job is not going to go anywhere. I don't know how we're going to survive. So please, plead with the government. Whatever they have to do, you have to intercede on our behalf. We should bring back our boss.
We are pleading. We are pleading. We are pleading on behalf of the government.
So that is it. Please help us bring our boss back for us. Yeah.
We are pleading that, if anything, we just want to beg the president, Mr. President, that he should intervene. Because
Interior Minister, please have mercy on us.
We are in Ghana here, and you are Ghanaians are complaining for unemployment. And this gentleman has helped us with something. So, Mr. Government, just intervene for us to work. That's all we need.
Oh, because I've been in a company for about 3 years now, and I know now there's no job in the country. So this man that normally tries to help out, and the way that they pass to break through his door and everything in Jakarta, that is the first offense that they're supposed not to do. They should have waited when everybody is around and they come, but they came when nobody is around and they just banned into his room. If I wait with the man, I will accuse them and I will tell them that I lost about 3,000 billion in my room. That because they break the door without my consent. You see, so we are all pleading to the government. I mean, to see through this matter so that they bring back our bonds.
It's going to affect us in the sense that we don't have. He's a very good leader. We want our good leader back. He is able to win contracts for us to gain our daily bread. If he's not there, who is going to do that work for us? Nobody else is around. I don't think anybody else can fit into his shoes because he's a good businessman and he's a good father to us. Who else will bring us business the same way he does? He's a very professional guy. We like him with not only because he's our boss, because he's professional and he's at the same time our father.
So that is what went down today at Mr. Ashok's home, plus his business or his workplace. Joseph Akabli has been following this story. He joins me in the studio so we can get some background into this and see what the way forward may look like for Mr. Ashok. Joseph, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Give us the background to the story.
So the first issue that came up was mid last year, where the news we heard was that he had been deported by the Ghana Immigration Service. Now, the explanation was that they had realized that in terms of securing his work and residential permits, he had used a fake marriage certificate, for which reason they decided to deport him. Now, he rushed to court to argue through his lawyers that he was not given an opportunity when they identified that his marriage certificate was fake. It was on the basis of the marriage certificate that he secured his work and residence permits. So he says that they should have contacted him at least for a response before they proceeded to deport him. So the court ruled at that point that the minister acted unreasonably, didn't give him a fair hearing, and quashed the revocation of the license as well as the deportation. But at that point, he had already been deported out of the country.
Okay.
So following that High Court decision, he returned to the country thinking that once he arrived, he can apply for a visa on arrival and obtain that visa. On arrival, he was quickly arrested by the Ghana Immigration Service again. They were just about deporting him when his lawyer rushed to court, arguing that a High Court had already ordered that they should quash that decision, revoking his license and also the deportation. So if the gentleman has appeared in the country, the court should order that the Immigration Service produces him in court. Then when the gentleman was produced in court, the judge asked the immigration boss and the immigration lawyers that what was the status of the guy currently, because a court has quashed the revocation and deportation. He's back in the country, he wants to apply for visa. What is his status? Why have you arrested him now? They said they had some issues they had wanted. The judge said, no, that is not of concern. What is of concern now is the current status of the guy. Because as it stands, they don't know whether he's a legal immigrant or an illegal immigrant, which had ever been a case. We should make that very clear. So the court gave an order that within 7 days, they should restore his residence and work permit. Now, the Immigration Service files an appeal at the Court of Appeal, challenging the decision by the court that earlier revoked, that earlier set aside the revocation and deportation order that was given by the Immigration Service and Interior Ministry subsequently. Apart from filing that appeal, they again went to the Supreme Court saying that the first court that gave the order that it should be restored did not have the power to do that because the process is that once your work and residence permit is revoked, you can apply to the Minister of Interior, the Immigration Service and the Interior Minister, so you can make an application there. But they said that in his case, he didn't exhaust that mechanism and rather rushed to court and subsequently got a court to give an order. So it was on that basis that last Thursday, the Supreme Court gave the order that, that's the decision of the court ordering restoration should be set aside because he didn't exhaust the mechanism that he was supposed to exhaust before they asked him to leave the country. So for that basis, they set it aside. Then what it means is that he goes back to the first status that he was when the court quashed the revocation of his license and subsequently the deportation. So it meant that it was a case that he comes back to the first status, he didn't have any status.
So at the moment, if he has to come back to Ghana, he comes back to Ghana, he will still need a visa on arrival.
He needs to put in the application. The Immigration Service needs to provide that.
So that option is available to him, which means that he can actually come back to Ghana, but of course it's a visa on arrival. So he comes back to Ghana, gets the visa on arrival, and determine that he basically can't work. In
fact, the second time they headed to court, it was simply because the gentleman had arrived in the country. After he had been deported, the court had quashed it. He arrived in the country. He put in the application. In fact, he says the immigration officers were refusing to take the fee from him.
Okay.
The fee to enable the
He said this in court.
He said this in court. His lawyer said it in open court.
Right.
That they were trying to put in the application. They were trying to make payments to the immigration service. They told him to go and come later. They kept on tossing him before they picked him up. And his lawyers had to rush to court, ordering that he has to be brought into the courtroom. When he was brought, the order was given that it should be restored. So in the event he comes back into the country, he still has to apply to the immigration service. Then the immigration service, we know for a fact that in terms of handling residence and work permits at their discretion because they need to do the checks, the background. Should we give the person?
But in this case, and quite frankly, we need to be upfront with this. This was an institution you are battling in court, and there's the same institution that ought to regularize your stay or your presence here in the country. So I guess that he found himself in a very difficult position. We're trying to reach his lawyer to get us some information on what's happening and what the way forward is for him. But has his wife always been with him in court?
She showed up the first time the court quashed the order, the very first one, the revocation of his work and residence permit. The wife was present. The second time when he returned to the country, he was also present as well. But we've also seen suggestions that he may have another spouse outside the country. That issue has also come up in the past.
Okay.
And is this wife's marriage certificate that is the issue in contention, for which reason the Immigration Service revoked his license in the first place. So that is one of the issues that has also come up as well.
Right. We're just hearing that his lawyer, Gary Numako, says that he's meeting the Interior Minister on the matter and will not comment on it in the media. But if his wife is Ghanaian, and we just listened to her, one of the things that concerns that she has is that she is Ghanaian. Will her residency, as a Ghanaian, help the matters in any way?
It was the basis. So the process we are told is that for some foreigners, in order to secure their business and work permits, he had to, I mean, in terms of the document he submitted, one of the issues he included, which boosted whoever was doing the suggestion and recommending that he should be given that status, was the marriage certificate showing that he was married to a Ghanaian and he had business interests here, among others. So that was the base for which they decided to give him the work and residence permit in the first place. Now the immigration says they discovered that that marriage certificate is fake, for which reason, if it's fake, then there's no base for you continuing to have that status as having a work and residence permit. So they decided to revoke it. And he has always been of the view that it's not his case, that it's not for his reason that the thing is fake. He said he put in an application, it went through the court, the marriage certificate was issued. So if there's any bit about it being fake, he doesn't feel he's the one to blame.
I see. Well, Joseph, thank you very much for that update and for that background. Joseph Akable has been following this case in court, and so he's been able to give us that background. Like I indicated, the lawyer for the embattled businessman says he's meeting the ministry over the matter and will not comment in the public.